Do you ever feel like you are discontent, like something is completely unfulfilled within your life, even with success, even with having everything that you might need? There's something still missing. Well, today you're going to definitely want to watch this podcast because we're going to break on down some universal law truths of why you are feeling that way and what you can actually do about it. We're also going to break down this week's universal law, which is the law of neutrality. There's only one universal law, but there's many distinctions. And we're going to actually pull a card for the call in today as well. So stay tuned. Welcome to the Dr. Erin Show. May you live your truth. Hello, divine beloveds. I'm super excited and honored to be with you here today. I am Dr. Erin, Doctor of Divinity, teaching metaphysics and universal law and spiritual coaching, recognizing the truth of who you are, which is an all-knowing divine spirit. You are the I am. You are the highest consciousness, experiencing yourself in this fractal of the unique divine expression called you as a human. So today we're going to go over a few things, a call in about how to get unstuck, because I know we all get super stuck at times. And as we go into this new year, new energy, and a new unit of time, it's imperative that we understand how we are creating through universal law. The subconscious mind is one with the subjective mind and the superconscious mind. And we're also going to go over this week's universal law, the universal law of neutrality. We're going to answer this question from a perspective of metaphysics from this week's universal law card. And also I'm going to pull a card so that we can really truly get a full perspective of what is going on. So before we begin, we always begin with a spiritual mind treatment, which means we are connecting the right and left hemisphere of the brain, the right and left hemisphere of the brain, and also the heart and the head, taking a deep breath in. And in this affirmative mind treatment, one, recognizing that there's one source and one cause of life, and that is divine. I recognize that this is the truth of who you are, the truth of who I am, and I recognize everything, the relative experience is all for growth, all for further enlightenment, all for the evolution of the consciousness of the one divine mind. And in this, I'm knowing the truth for each and every one of us in this divine day, this divine year, and this divine time, knowing there is only here and now. And so I simply know perfection with ease, grace, and power, as together we say, and so it is, and so it is. Okay, let's make sure that we are recording. Yes. Okay. So the call in today, the question asked is, let me just pull it up here real quick. Okay. So here is the call in. I've been struggling with feeling stuck in my life, like I'm living on autopilot. This is from Sarah, who is 37. Doesn't say where she's in from, but she's been living on autopilot. She says, I have had a good job, a stable relationship, and a nice home, but I feel unfulfilled. I don't even know what excites me anymore, and I'm scared that I'll wake up one day and regret not living fully. How do I reconnect with my purpose and reignite my passion for life? Well, first of all, Sarah, I recognize, and I know I have definitely been there in some stuck times. I remember one time when I hit my 30 year, and I was officially a millionaire, and I felt completely unfulfilled. Everything that I'd bought into in by the culture and my programming had told me that I would be happy one day. And I realized that it wasn't the truth. And so, what I would say, Sarah, is to really get that we're not here for comfort. We're here for growth, right? So, just when you think you've arrived, you haven't arrived, right? So, just when we think, hey, we got that job that we always wanted to get, we, got the relationship that looks good or seems okay, we have children that fulfill us, but why is there something still missing, right? Because we're here as divine spiritual beings, here for growth, here for evolution, for eternity, right? We're here to experience the divine presence, but we're also here to experience the divine discontent that always demands that we grow, always demand that we expand our consciousness. So, Sarah, I would say the first thing is to really, truly deprogram. Your first awakening, even by just asking the question, is awakening to say, hey, I'm not going to pretend anymore. I'm not going to pretend that everything's okay when really there's kind of a pit in my stomach of saying, hey, there's got to be more than this, right? So I congratulate you first on that. Secondly, is deprogramming, knowing that whatever the cultural programming, whatever you thought was going to make you happy, it's really getting rid of those programs. Another thing that can play into this is recognizing that there's a divine discontentment. And this is something I struggled with for a long time. Also, I'd start projects, stop projects. I was like, why am I always feeling like discontent? And as the saying goes, that what we resist persists. But the truth is that there's a divine discontent that actually is working for us. So as Ram Dass and the great masters would teach, that we're here for the right here and now, and that we should be really fully fulfilled in that divine presence. And as that is true, the equal and opposite is true as well, which is that we have a divine discontent. And this is an actual term in metaphysics. Divine discontent means that there's something in you that's always wanting to expand, always wanting to emerge, always wanting to evolve. And so I know, Sarah, that there's something more for you. There may be something more for you to do for the collective. There may be something more for you to do in the healing of your lineage. There may be something more. And we can never know that. We have to go in to do the deep, deep transformational work to be able to birth that higher purpose, that higher power, passion, and purpose. And that is yours to do. So let's read this from this week's Universal Law card answering this for Sarah. So the Universal Law card of this week is the law of neutrality. The truth is that there's only one universal law, but there's many distinctions of universal law. What is universal law? You can go check out some of my other videos on that, but universal law is how we manifest. The advanced teaching of how we manifest, how consciousness soars spirit from the innermost self to the outside, or from the upper, through the portal, which is through the 0 point field, is going through what is called the filter or the subconscious mind. And that is actually projecting out into the world as the form, as our divided filter. But the truth is that we're all knowing, all abundant, and we're manifesting 24/7. So Sarah, let's take a look at this, of answering this from the law of neutrality. And the law of neutrality states, I'm going to read it here just so I make sure that we get it correct, okay? It's practicing non-attachment and staying equanimous. So that means, Sarah, that it's in the judging, right? So even maybe you are in this place of saying, hey, I'm not really fulfilled. And we don't want to spiritually bypass that by just going neutrality. But at the same time, we can practice neutrality as well. So this law, the law of neutrality, teaches us that the secret of experiencing free will, the moment we end judgment, we free ourselves from feeling the effect of polarity, okay? When we emancipate ourselves from conflict, upsets, viewpoints, and we're able to authentically be the cause of our lives, spirit, our true self, creates from nothing. It is first cause. Aligning with this law sets yourself free. Be here now. So the question I'd ask for you in the practice, Sarah, would be to accept that you are unfulfilled, to not try and change it, fix it, or whatever, but really just be with it. Like, be with the emotions and be with the feeling of being unfulfilled without judging it, without trying to fix it or change it, because that's resisting it and persisting it, right? Really listening. Like, what is your heart and soul saying in being unfulfilled, right? And so that's the message, is trying to come through. All emotions are the resistance of the higher self trying to guide us back to truth, trying to guide us back to truth. And so in this, really knowing, may you, experience the tug of war, but really recognize, what are you actually having the tug of war for? What is the truth being birthed out of these emotions within you? Okay. And then let's do a little drawing of seeing what's happening from a perspective of whatever's coming through. So just, if you're out there, Sarah, or anyone struggling to move past being unfulfilled or stuck patterns or anything, let's just know that there's a divine perfection and a message coming through right now. And this message is the law of mentalism. I love this. Okay. So the law of mentalism states that we live in a universe of mental pictures, and your mental state is creating your reality. So one, you can either hold the mental state of the perfection of what is And you can also hold the new mental picture of what you choose to create for your life and energize that. Regardless, we live in a universe of mental pictures, and whatever you choose to create in your life has to be the vibrational match. So if you're having the feeling of being unfulfilled and kind of stuck patterns, your life is going to outpicture as unfulfilled and stuck patterns. Okay. Everything begins in mind because it is a mental universe. So, in this, again, we're just going to know the truth for Sarah and for anybody out there feeling stuck and ready to go to the next thing. I invite you to not spiritually bypass it, not just try and pretend and fix it, maybe with drugs and alcohol or shopping or workaholism or whatever it may be, but rather feel all the feels of that being unfulfilled and stuck patterns and listen to that. Get frustrated, get sad, do all those things so that you can actually do the deeper work to transform and transmute that divine discontentment. Okay. So, in this, again, let's do a little spiritual mind treatment, taking your hands together. You can rub them together. You can just hold them together. You can do whatever you want. You can place them in your hands. The truth is, we're connecting the one divine mind, merging and unifying our individual mind with the divine mind. I recognize right here, right now, the power that be, the power that Sarah is, the power, that divine discontentment. I say, thank you for the divine discontentment. Thank you for the divine discontentment. I recognize there is a glory, there's a blessing, there's a gift coming in that divine discontentment. And it is for Sarah to become more, for her to express more, for her to experience life more, for her to be more, for her to live more, to her to fully experience herself as knowing thyself and giving that to the world. And so I say, thank you, Sarah. Thank you for the divine discontentment. Thank you for sharing that stuck energetic, because I know so many experience that. May we know the truth of liberation, of knowing that she has the power of her mind in the mental universe. She has the power to neutralize it with non-judgment. She has the power because she is the power. She is the I am. She is the highest consciousness. That is her true identity. And so I know she is meant for more than what she's doing right now. She is meant for growth. She is meant for evolution. She is meant for the expansive consciousness in her one divine mind that expands to the divine mind. And so I say this with absolute certainty in the name of truth, as together we say, and so it is. And so it is. Okay, you guys, if you have not yet, subscribe and share this video out. May we know the truth together. It's so important for us to get in right mind and know we've not been taught the core teachings that we really need to know of who we are, how we reprogram our subconscious mind, how we align to universal law. Have a beautiful, blessed day, and may you live your truth.